Coming up this Saturday, November 30th at 7 p.m., Westminster United Church will be holding their first ever Sing-Along Messiah. This is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who loves to sing to take part in a completely free event while at the same time reveling in Handel's masterful music that has become such a staple of the holidays. The event is free, but donations are very much encouraged and welcome. The proceeds of the donations will go towards the Westminster United Church Sanctuary Ceiling Restoration Fund. This is a wonderful way to play a small role in ensuring that one of Winnipeg's greatest and most recognizable structural landmarks and music venues will continue to grace the landscape of Winnipeg. A venue that the City of Winnipeg and the Province of Manitoba declared a heritage building back in 1992. This is an event that is supported by the Manitoba Choral Association and the Winnipeg 150 City of Song Initiative. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about this Saturday's Sing-Along Messiah, I am joined by Westminster United Church's Director of Music and Worship, Dr. Stuart Sladden. Hey, Stuart, nice to have you here in studio and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, and thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so a Messiah sing-along sounds like such a great idea. I want to start things out by asking, how did the event come about? And can you talk about the role that the Manitoba Choral Association and the Winnipeg 150 City of Song Initiative had in making this project happen?
For sure. Well, I'll start with the Winnipeg Arts Council Manitoba Choral Association. It was about a year and a half ago because we're celebrating Winnipeg's 150th anniversary this year. And your listeners would probably know that Manitoba is known as the singing province. Mm-hmm. And so one of the ways that the Winnipeg Arts Council thought they could celebrate this milestone in the city's history was to have a year of singing. And so they proposed to do 150 different choral concerts in the course of this year. And so they partnered with Manitoba's provincial choral organization, the Manitoba Choral Association, to find choirs to help participate in this project of doing 150 concerts, choral concerts, to celebrate Winnipeg's 150. And so they joined forces, and then they've put out a call for applications for choirs to apply for an amount of money to help support these projects. Mm-hmm. And they've been running all year long. You can go to the Winnipeg Arts Council website. There's a link to the 150 program, and you can see all of the concerts that are upcoming, and you can also see all the ones that have happened through the course of the year. And so when this particular project came about, I was thinking about how Westminster might be able to participate in something like this. And one of the things that I know is that Messiah, as you mentioned in your preamble, is one of the, for many people, is a holiday tradition. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that an Easter work has become synonymous with Christmas, but nonetheless, it has been. And I know, sort of briefly looking back in Winnipeg's history, it has been performed every year since 1948 with the WSO at Christmas time. And so I thought, what a nice way to sort of bring the community back into Westminster in a small way. I've run sing-along messiahs in the past, and to great fanfare from the people who come, because it's a great opportunity just to come and sing through this iconic piece of music, right? And so I thought, you know, I have some wonderful soloists that we hire as part of the choral program at Westminster, and I thought, what a great way to feature them and to bring the community together to do something special, because sing-along messiahs have happened, but not very often in the city. So.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk about the soloists? I was going to ask that question. I mean, you yourself are a tenor. I was visions of you singing Comfort Ye My People and Every Valley. Who are the soloists?
Sure. I have a group of 8 singers that have agreed to come and join me, and they're going to be playing double duty. So they're going to be singing the work solos as well as helping to support the choral singing, because this is an unrehearsed event, right? So they're going to hopefully hold us all together. And so I can say that the 4 soloists that I have at Westminster are Rebecca McIntosh, Sonia Campbell, Joanna Lepp, Thiessen, and Fred Simpson are my 4 soloists, so 2 sopranos, an alto, and a bass. Mm-hmm. And they're being joined by Haley Witt on alto. They're being joined by Nolan Kaler from here is going to sing the tenor. He's going to sing the Every Valley and Comfort Ye My People, not me. And then Stephen Heiko Pena as well is going to join us. And then I have another friend of mine, Greg Weeb, who's going to join the tenor section, but not sing any solos. So
it's going to be fantastic.
They're wonderful people and wonderful soloists. I've worked with all of them in the past. And, I in this stage of my career, I only really like to surround myself with people I like to work with. And so I'm really grateful to all of the people, and including the 15 in the orchestra who are joining us as well, that they've agreed to help make this event happen.
Absolutely. It said in the press release that the singers you're going to sing through the Christmas portion, which is essentially part one.
That's right.
Of the Messiah, and highlights of Handel's masterwork. Can you talk about some of the other choruses that people can sing along to? I mean, the Hallelujah chorus is obviously going to be in there.
Yeah, I don't think I would have a job left if I didn't include that one in the mix. So Hallelujah chorus is definitely part of it. I mean, in the first part, you have choruses like And the Glory, For Unto Us a Child is Born, and the ever popular His Yoke is Easy, which is not so easy. So we'll be exploring all of the choruses in part one. And then for the other part of the work, Hallelujah chorus is obviously going to be included. We're also going to be doing the Since by Man Came Death, which is at the beginning of the part 3, following the soprano solo at the beginning of that. And then we're also going to be doing Worthy is the Lamb and the Amen at the end.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. You mentioned it in passing. Can you talk about the chamber orchestra that's going to be joining you? Where do they come from?
I asked called in a lot of favors. I asked a lot of friends. There's a number of them that actually played for me last year. I conducted the Messiah presentation that was done through the Covenant Church up in the north part of the city.
Okay.
And they raised through that program about $14,000 for, I think it was Winnipeg Harvest, through that program. And so some of the players played from there. Some of them are friends of mine that I've worked with on other projects. And a few of them are people I've never met that were recommended to me from other people. And then I have some students also joining us because I feel it's important to give opportunities to people when possible. And so we have professionals right down to students all joining in this particular orchestra. So
it's very much a community event.
That was the idea. Yeah. And, I will just say, like, this isn't the whole idea for this as well. It's not a performance. The idea for this is come as you are and sing what you can and just join in the glorious sounds of what's happening around you
and just have fun.
That's, and if I've said this before to people as I'm talking about this, but if we have big train wrecks, we'll just have a good laugh. I'll call it a bar and we'll just keep going from there. I hope no train wrecks happen, but if they do, it's part of the whole process, right?
Absolutely. So, I'm just thinking about music. If people have their own scores, can they bring their own scores or can they borrow from the church?
People are welcome to bring their own scores. The nice thing about Messiah, I mean, there have been subtle changes and additions over the course of the year, but the framework of each of the movements is essentially the same. And in the coloratura lines, if one note is different, nobody's going to know. And so, people are welcome to bring their own scores if they have them. And we have, I think, somewhere between 80 and 100 scores in the church itself. So if you don't have one, don't worry, you can borrow one of ours while supplies last.
Absolutely fantastic. The event is also a fundraiser for the Sanctuary Ceiling Restoration Fund. For our listeners who don't know, and I don't know how much you can disclose, but can you talk about the roof of the sanctuary and why the main sanctuary is currently closed?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit, not too much, but I can talk a little bit. What we know is that I think it was just over 2 years ago, an engineering team came and was inspecting various aspects of the church building, and they came across a structural issue in the sanctuary. And essentially what I understand is happening is that the structures that support the envelope of the ceiling in the sanctuary are starting to cave. So the sanctuary they're worried that at some point that those structures will let go and the entire ceiling will come down. So at that point, they closed the sanctuary to the public. And so the public hasn't been able to get into the sanctuary now for about 2 years. And they have gone through and done some further engineering studies. There's an estimate cost of about $4 million to repair all of that. They have to change some internal structures in order to make that happen, which I think is contributing to the high dollar figure. Because right now the space between the ceiling and the roof is a cold space, and I think they have to turn it into a hot space. And so there's other aspects that I don't really know too much about involved with that. And so, yeah, that is essentially what has happened. And so the church leadership, when all of this happened, took a breath, as you will when you're looking at a $4 million repair, and have been working steadily to try to discern a path forward. They have had lots of conversations with various different people, as far as I understand, but a lot of that right now is in a preliminary stand, so there hasn't been a formal path moving forward yet made. But we're hopeful that sometime in the next year or so that a direction will sort of present itself, and the congregation will be involved in those discussions and what will be the ultimate end moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you talk about where exactly in Westminster United it's going to take place? I mean, we were talking about this off air. You're not going in off the Maryland side, right?
Right. Yeah, you would enter the building off the Westminster side door, so it's the main office door. So basically, Westminster has sort of, the building itself has two sections. You have the big sanctuary that seats about 800 people. That's the part that is currently closed. And then you have the back half of the building, whereas all the offices are. That's where the child care, the daycare that runs out of there is from. And so this event is going to be taking place in the second floor concert hall. And this is a project that we've taken on this year to try to revitalize the space, to try to bring the arts community back into the building a little bit. And so you would come in the Westminster door. We'll have people there to greet you. You'll get your scores there, and then you'll go up the stairs. Unfortunately, it is stair access at this point. So it's not a fully accessible space, but I know in sort of my understanding is that may be part of the discussions moving forward. So this space, it seats about 150 people, and it has a functioning stage up there, and it's just a really nice acoustic as well. I know that a couple of WSO players have come and recorded different things up there in the past and stuff. So it's this lost little gem in the city that we're trying to start to revitalize and perhaps bring back.
Yeah, and you mentioned it seats 150 people, so people should register for the sing-along, right?
That is correct.
How do they do that?
Sure. We're asking people to reserve seats because space is limited. And there are two sort of main ways to do that, well, three. If you see one of our posters floating around, there's a little QR code. You can sort of snap that and it'll take you to a reservation page. But if you don't see one of our posters, you can actually email me directly. My email at Westminster is musicdirector@westminsterchurch.org. All sort of the music director is one word. Westminster Church, one word. Or you can call the church office, and I happen to have it written down here, and that number is 204-789-1330, I believe that is. Correct me if I'm wrong at some point. But so you can call the church office as well, and they will get you set up with that. Space is limited. Reservations are coming in fast and furious right now. Great. I think we have about 70 registered.
Perfect.
Of that. We are actually using the space in a slightly different way for this concert. I'm setting the space up so that the chorus is part of the orchestra. And so the orchestra will be on the main floor and the chorus will be around the back, kind of like you would see it in a concert hall. And so we can't fit up to the 150 capacity because part of that space is taken up with the orchestra. But we are hoping to sort of get in about 100 people for this particular event. And I would also just sort of add, if you want to come and just watch, you're welcome to do that too.
Absolutely.
We have room for people to come and just hang out with us for the evening and just participate in the sound as well. So you don't have to sing to come and join us for the event.
This is the first ever Messiah sing-along at Westminster United. Is it your hope that this becomes a yearly thing? And what do you hope people are going to take away from Saturday night?
Well, yes, it is my hope that this becomes a yearly event. One of the things that I've noted in the city, we have any number of full concert presentations of the work, but we don't have any regularly occurring opportunity for just anybody to come and join in. And so my hope is that Westminster can provide that opportunity for people to come into the building and to sing through the work. My hope is the takeaway is just for people to sort of get themselves into the holiday spirit, to rejoice in this glorious, iconic piece of music. Because it's one of those things that right from the downbeat of the overture, just kind of it's a sensory thing for me, right? It's just like smelling the turkey cooking or seeing the sights and sounds of the holidays. This is one of those sort of ingrained things, and so I hope people will come and just enjoy the music, enjoy the community, and leave feeling great about having participated in something.
And having fun. Having fun, just singing some great Handel.
Absolutely.
Stuart, it sounds like so much fun. I hope the room is packed and there are wonderful sounds of Handel's Messiah fill up the open and closed spaces at Westminster United Church. All the best on Saturday. And thanks for taking the time to drop by and talk to me today. It's been great.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a real pleasure.
Mm-hmm. For our Classic 107 listeners, Westminster United Church's Sing Along Messiah takes place this Saturday at 7 p.m. For more details, go to prairietopinersea.ca or go to classic107.com. I've embedded a direct link to the details page, and you can find that in the article that's up there. Stuart, thanks again.
Thank you very much.